and welcome to Tally Benchwarmers. This is your unofficial, definitely non-expert take on the latest in local collegiate sports. This week we are again backbenching. Well, we're going to talk about some FSU and FAMU football, guys. Certainly the basketball season's picking up. We've got a little bad news about volleyball, and, there's all sorts of sports stuff that we want to talk about. Hey, I'm David Mullins. I'm the head bench warmer, and for the next half hour or so, our team around the bench is going to concentrate on all these sports. Adrian Andrews, our sports reporter. Good to see you, Adrian.
What's going on?
Oh, a lot's going on. We're going to have fun. Jennifer Tappen, CFO at WFSU. You got a few things that you're happy about, I know.
I am.
Yeah, at least one big thing.
One big thing.
Eric Carter, who is really our guru of FSU sports, he's unavailable, but I've got my number one FSU fan that I'm just going to hold up the big number one finger, and whenever I think Eric might have said something good, I'll hold it up to the guys. So, who watched, by the way, before we get to college sports, anybody watch the Buffalo LA Rams game last night?
I did not. I didn't catch it, yeah.
But I saw some of it, but I didn't stay with it the whole game. But, man, I see today the headlines about Josh Allen. This was like a record-breaking or record-making performance. Throws for 3 touchdowns. He rushes for 3 touchdowns. Oh, wow. 6 scores. He loses 44-42 against the Rams. That's but man,
it's
I tell
after
you,
breaking another record. Didn't he catch one and he threw one? And
that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where
Goodness gracious!
In the snow.
In the snow. Yeah. So
he's amazing.
I think he's probably in the top candidate for MVP this year. But and then yesterday the Chiefs won by witchcraft, I think.
Oh yeah, the doink. The doink.
It was, and of course, Buckner. This is the backup kicker for the Chiefs too. So. The doink. So the Chiefs, I guess they
won the division.
They won the division
once again.
Once again, it's looking like. It's looking like a Buffalo KC probably likely matchup in the conference championship. The Lions just keep
that
roaring.
Would be a cool Super Bowl.
Wouldn't you like to see the Lions and maybe the Chiefs or the Lions
and the
Bills or something?
Get the Chiefs out of here.
But
we love them, but
my friend here to the right here, she got her team down in Tampa is doing okay. But you also like.
I love me some Jameis.
You like some Jameis, too.
I love Jameis.
Jameis, Jameis is always going to be associated with the Bucs.
Yes.
But, man, he's having fun.
I know it. Yeah,
with the Browns.
He's like must-see football.
Yeah.
It's not even for what he does on the field, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of funny.
Praying to be released from the pick sixes.
I know, right? Pastor Winston, see whatever scripture he's going to read today.
Singing jingle bells and having snowball fights in the middle.
It's just what fun.
Yeah.
And the Browns fans have really adopted him too, right? So and that's a tough fan base.
Yeah,
in Cleveland.
Is.
So what fun for that to be in the NFL. This is really when I start watching NFL football, really for that. And of course, then we got the coolest coach in the league down in Miami,
Mr. Mike McDaniel.
He's like, his press conferences are just to be seen, must see TV.
They're funny.
As long as you don't fall asleep in them because he's just so laid back. So we'll see. But we've got a little bit of college football that we want to talk about too here because we had a conference championship. It's a college championship, so weekend ACC. It was what a game. I watched the last quarter of that because I hadn't paid attention to it because Clemson was up so big in the first half.
They came out on fire. They were. It was up 21-7, I think, in the first 10 minutes or something ridiculous like that.
But you can't sleep on SMU.
No.
You cannot sleep on SMU.
They're going to be a force next year, and really just years to come.
Yeah, it's
First year?
I will speak on behalf of Eric Carter here with Eric who would be sitting right over there. He picked SMU to win the ACC at the beginning of the season. You may remember, and he said he's watched them develop over the last few years, and like they were primed to join the ACC and to be a force.
Yeah.
But wow, I was so disappointed for them. I mean, Clemson has won the ACC so much, but and SMU came back, and it really looked like it was going to go to overtime.
Yeah,
it really did.
Yeah.
And then that kickoff return that put them in, and it was like a 56-yard field goal by the Clemson kicker, and it went in. So, but that's we had some good football over the weekend. There was an SEC title game that I think Jennifer over here was really excited about too.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was an interesting one. It was dramatic and emotional, and you lose your top QB at the beginning of the second or the end of the first half, and the backup QB comes in, and nobody knows anything about this guy because he's only played a little bit when Georgia was way far ahead. But he's something to look forward to in the next couple of years. And then to win again in overtime with a quarterback, another overtime game. Yeah. Your second string quarterback gets knocked out in the last play, so they bring back in the first string quarterback who can only move one arm.
And
they end up showing
what excitement. That's entertainment.
It was.
Matt Stafford out there, one arm.
Do you remember that? That is like I have watched that clip of Stafford.
I know. Get me back out there. He's like just dangling.
Carson Beck ran out and his arm was just dangling. Exactly. It was crazy.
They grow him good and teach him good in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was another championship that we ought to talk about, even though FAMU wasn't in it, but Jackson State just.
I watched a little bit of that game, and honestly, it was very competitive in the first half, and then Jackson State took over, and the momentum was on their side.
I don't think it didn't surprise you, did it?
No, it didn't surprise me. I mean, like I said, the first half, I was like, "Ooh, this could go either way," right? But Jackson State definitely. But they're back in it. They're going to the Celebration Bowl, where FAMU just was last year. But FAMU, they'll get back there, hopefully.
Listen, I think we're pretty pleased with the head coach hire at FAMU. So it's next year. So both FAMU and FSU's teams looking to next year, right? Yeah. Looking to next year.
Yes.
We are going to do something kind of all football season long. We've been making our picks for the next week, but so we're going to take advantage of the fact that we got a 12-team playoff. And you heard it here first, folks. The Tally Benchwarmers. We're gonna all fill out our playoff brackets, and we're gonna see in the coming weeks how good of a picker Adrian really is. We're gonna Eric is he was kind of.
Listen, I think I was below 70% on that one.
But see, you only got 12 teams here to worry about. So,
we'll see. We'll see.
And it's a playoff, so you never know.
Jennifer's already filled out her bracket. I haven't done that. So, and on behalf of Eric over here, Eric will fill out his bracket. Yeah. But FAMU, FSU, we're looking to next year. FSU, obviously, in the last 7 or 8 days, some big news on the staff. Yeah. What do you think about the Malzahn confirmation of Malzahn?
Well, we know he can recruit, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing. He has that offensive mind that I believe that's really going to benefit us as well. But I think it's going to be good. Yeah. We'll see. Because I definitely think we have to switch things up, especially on that offense. You're going to have some new pieces coming in. Yeah. If Luke is going to be your guy, you want to sort of create some play styles and play schemes that's really going to benefit him. Use those legs. Because, DJ and Luke, they're two completely different players. Yeah.
Yes.
Brock is a completely different player. Yeah. So, maybe go into some spread offenses or something like that.
And so I guess we may wonder what Brock's going to do. To see if Brock, if it becomes evident that Luke is going to be the guy, is Brock going to go to the portal or not? We'll see, right?
Yeah.
Malzahn brought over his OC, his offensive line coach, right? Yeah. So I think that's great if you can have that synergy from an offensive coordinator, offensive line that have coached together.
We need something on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Terribly.
And Tony White, the new from really a
new
great pedigree, right?
Yeah.
Great pedigree with Tony White, who then is also bringing over Terrence Knighton, the Nebraska defensive line coach.
Right.
Again, a highly got a great resume for himself too.
Yeah.
So
and he takes over for Odell. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that?
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean for the university? Is that sort of hinting towards his retirement? He's been on that staff for a long time, very long time.
Over 30 years.
Yeah, over 30 years since Bobby Bowden
Bobby,
days.
yeah.
So, and for people who don't know, he served as interim head coach twice, right? And I learned today that he was actually offered the position to be head coach twice.
So popular.
Yeah, so popular.
Periods, right?
And so he's the associate head coach. That's correct.
Yes. Associate head coach of team building and
I don't
morale.
know.
He's basically the head cheerleader, I think. He's the head cheerleader, head babysitter.
if in that position he can still recruit, that would be great because that's been a strength.
Yeah. And Norvell didn't really go into depth to say what that is, but he was like, well, it's a leadership role. Yeah. And, he's actually been in that role since 2014. I think he's been in for about 10 years. Yeah. But, he's had that, and he shared that position also with his defensive line. So, I'm not sure, what that means for him, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
So. Randy Shannon, obviously, he was interim there for the last few games. He's gone. Randy Shannon, I think probably when he was brought on staff, people would say, "What the heck, you bring Randy Shannon? He was the head coach for Miami. What are you bringing him in for?" But Randy Shannon seems like a good guy, great recruiter for the state of Florida for sure.
Exactly.
So wish him well.
You got to get those boys from South Florida. Yeah, that's for the speed.
That is absolutely right. You've got to. If you can't recruit Florida, you're not going to win in this state. So that's great. And then before we move on to another great sport that we want to talk about, FIU gets a new head coach.
Yeah, man. We know this name, Willie Simmons, right?
Yeah.
FAMU. I'm going to call him a FAMU legend at this point.
Yes,
but goes over to Duke as a running backs coach. Only 1 year there. Now he gets a call from FIU. That is big.
That is huge.
Not a lot of coaches can say they jumped like that.
That's right.
After 1 year.
Yeah.
So, but awesome. Hats off to Willie Simmons.
Yeah, that is great. And FIU sometimes may not be where head coaches like to go because they haven't had a dynamic. Although I remember the year that FIU beat Miami, and that was such a fun story to see.
Oh my gosh! I wish I could have been down there during that time.
This was like
Miami
7 years ago, I think.
Lit.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. But way to go, Coach Simmons, because that is something very, very special for us. Yeah. Well, we hear the war chant. And that war chant for the last 10 weeks or so has been about football. But, let's talk about a little basketball. Okay. The men's and women's teams, they both had their conference opener this weekend. Okay. I don't know if you saw any of it. I saw a good part of the men's game against North Carolina State. It was a banging. It was a physical game. We could have won that game. We went to overtime when we lost. Malik Ewan, our guy in the middle, fouled out with about a minute and a half to go. We were leading at that time, and then NC State came back, tied it, and then we just couldn't pull it together in overtime. But I think the men's got a good team this year. It's something to really watch.
Yeah, I mean, you got the height as well.
We've got the height
because goodness, and Florida State has never lacked in that department anyway. But I think this might be the year. Maybe we see. Obviously we get the Sweet 16. Maybe we'll see what how far we go.
That would be great. 7-3 for the season, 4-1 at home.
Right.
We've got a game against Tulane and later this week. I think we're playing Tulane here at the Tuck on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see if we can fill the Tuck for that Saturday game against Tulane.
You got to stay healthy. I think that was one of our biggest things.
That's right.
Going, when we was trying to make that run in the tournament. So you got to stay healthy.
And then the women's, I must admit, I'm a season ticket holder for the women's game. So I love the women's program. Coach Brooke has got a great team this year. We played yesterday. We're recording this podcast on Monday. Sunday afternoon, played SMU. SMU led by 6 at the half, and they were. We've got height. We got comparable height to other teams. SMU had some bodies, and it was a physical game. We came back and just ended up with a great win, but and had I think at one point a 15-point lead. It was like a 21-point turnaround from the beginning of this third quarter to the end of the third quarter. Right. They came back, but I think we got a good team. We got a competitive team. I didn't know what to expect from the SMU women, but I think we all know
good.
ACC basketball, men or women, is very competitive.
Yeah. Tanaya Latson. Yeah,
she's leading the nation.
Yeah, really.
Scoring
points. Yeah,
and I think the team is overall second best offense in points per game. KK Timpson is always hitting the board. She's great. Omaria Gordon, our senior guard, who has been such a joy to watch the last 4 years. She went over the 1,000-point mark. They honored her at yesterday's game. Nice. So it's a fun team to watch. Play Drexel next Sunday. I think that's a home game too. So come out on Sunday.
Yeah.
I sound like I'm a ticket salesperson for the boosters, right? Yeah. Oh well. But for Eric and being out, go Knowles basketball. On the FAMU side, it's we don't have such great news on the basketball teams, but I know they've been playing a lot of big programs.
Women's basketball.
They've been playing a lot of big
programs. Yeah, got their win this the latest game. So, but men's, the 3-5 overall, 3-0 at home. Yeah. So that's good, right? So they got a little got some momentum going in with that one. They knocked off Trinity. What is it? Trinity Baptist. So that's another good one.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think they're back on the road.
Conference play starts for FAMU. I don't know exactly when conference play starts, but
should be soon here.
But we're gonna have some fun basketball in the city of Tallahassee, both for sure. Men and women.
Shaq's son plays on the team.
Yes, I did not know that.
Yeah. I saw him throw down a dunk one night, and I was like,
that.
I heard that rumor before the season started.
That's a reason. Maybe Shaq may show up at some games too.
Maybe. Yeah. Look, when he threw down that dunk, I was like, oh. That's your daddy's boy in there.
So speaking of Shaq real quick, Tristan Wood sent me a video or a couple of videos. I think Saturday night it was DJ Diesel in Gainesville, and Tristan went to this thing. It looked like a wild time. And there's Shaq behind the console. Yeah. I can't say some of the words he was saying because but I'm like, Shaq, you should be ashamed of yourself. But it looked like people are having a great time. Maybe we'll get Shaq in town.
Maybe. Yeah. He was at Potbelly's not too long.
He was on Potbelly's,
yeah. You got to get him there.
We can get him on Benchwarmers.
But if we could get Shaq on Benchwarmers, that would be a coup.
Might have to this whole space. I might have to give that to him because I know he's a big fella. So I don't know.
Can you imagine the camera shot?
I know, right?
Of Shaq next to any of us. It would be so funny. That would be funny.
We would have to sit him on the floor so you could see his face.
I know.
So, FAMU men, real quick. FAMU men are playing Utah on the 17th of December.
Yeah, back on the road.
And FAMU women are playing Stanford on the 20th. So, even though after all the students, they get their finals taken care of and everything, our players in the basketball teams, they got to continue to work all the way through the holidays. But that's fine. That gives us some entertainment. Yeah. We're gonna have to have a Benchwarmers party at maybe one of the games. That'll be fun. The basketball, we've got our basketball on set now, so that's going to be a prominent piece of the bench for the next few months. In fact, we're going to talk about a little sad news. Our volleyball teams.
Oh man,
yeah,
that was a tough one.
That was a tough week last week.
Yeah,
the tourney started. we had high hopes. I know we had high hopes for both teams.
Yeah, but you mentioned, I mean, the FSU's loss was, they was competitive.
Yeah.
It was close.
Yeah, Ole Miss, it was close. It was a 2-3 match set loss in the match, and that last set I think went to 15-13 in the score. So God bless them. Good for the ladies. They had a good run this year. It's tough to lose in the first round of any tournament.
And I honestly, that was a shocker for me. I thought I was like for sure it was going to get past the first round, but they'll be back there next year. Same for FAMU.
Yeah,
lost to Nebraska. They got swept.
They got beat bad by Nebraska.
And I mean, it is interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess at the same time, they've been doing that against the SWAC all season.
Yeah.
We were talking about how they've been beating up on teams. And
They finally came back around.
It came back around. But I spoke to the head coach. In the days leading up to the game and stuff. And it was interesting. He talks about like how playing these big schools, like how it's such a motivator for them.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And it really does. It's like a training for them. They almost like you become better, that sharpening iron thing. And so I believe they'll be back next year because, and he actually said, once we can figure out how to get in maybe a higher seed, so now we don't have to come and, play these top seeded teams.
Play the top seed.
Because they're playing Nebraska, who I believe was either number 1 or number 2. But, get some of those wins and stuff, and you can really maybe they can host a game maybe one year.
That would be nice.
That would be awesome.
Cool. That would be great. So, but good for our teams. We've been rooting for both volleyball teams all season long. So. Next year, we're going to concentrate on basketball for a little bit, but we're not that far away from baseball and softball season really kicking in.
We're not. Yeah.
So, and we've got the playoffs still to come.
Yeah.
That's our whistle. The bench is depleted now of topics. We're sorry that Mr. Carter couldn't join us on this fun day, but we'll get him next week. And remember to fill out your brackets. We're going to be talking NCAA. We'll probably be talking NFL football too in the weeks to come. But we want to thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thanks to Evan Rossi behind the board, Jason Acuna behind the cameras, and we want to thank you. And if you want to reach out to us with any questions, just I have to look at that again. Tally Bench at WFSU.org is the place to reach us. So until next time, go Noles.
All right.
And Eric will be with us next time.